Hello and welcome to the... I was actually just about to say the Suicide Squad. I don't know. I was about to say that. Hello and welcome to the Suicide Squad. I think that's a line in this movie. Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I am your host, Ty Christensen. Friend? We've got Jordan Christensen on the pod. I'm an effing superhero! No, he gets it off. He says, I'm a superhero, which I love. And then he's like, I'm a fashion suit. And then
proceeds to get flattened like a pancake.
He throws polka dots at people. Oh my gosh, he throws polka dots at people. And we've got Grant Mickle on the pod.
New dumb friends.
I love when he says it too. He's like laughing.
He's running around in the aquarium area.
Yeah,
so funny. Guys, holy cow, we are discussing the Suicide Squad.
And not
Suicide Squad.
Make sure we
This
clarify
is
that.
the James Gunn version. No offense to the other version that came out, but wasn't all that good. This is a great film. I like this one. So let's get into it. This movie came out in 2021, and it was directed by James Gunn, written by James Gunn. Is there any controversy around James Gunn yet? I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, he's tweeted a bunch of stuff, and people don't like the stuff he tweets.
Oh, that's right. Right. Got it. That's right. Because they almost canceled him for what was it about? Was it race relations, women relations? What
everything.
Is it?
He's just he's very because he's a goof and he likes to joke about things, and so.
So he was funny. He's like trying to be a comedian, and we're like, no humor's allowed. We live in the 21st century. If you're laughing at something, it's probably because you're inconsiderate and you're a bigot and you don't understand the ramifications of humor.
Well, I don't know if that's why Disney let him go, but once DC heard they let him go, they're like, ah!
Oh, that's right. They let him go. See, but it was just making too much money to pass up, so DC accepted him. Wow.
Or maybe he was just fed up making, because by Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and they were asking him to do a third one, he's probably like, can I try something different? They're like, no, it's got to be exactly like the first.
It needs to be a very, very sweet family film. You got to bring in those butts. And he's like, I want to make a raunchy, funny, R-rated, Suicide Squad movie. Which I got to say, Suicide Squad, I don't know. So let's just get into like what was like watching it the first time and rewatching it for the pod.
Was he supposed to direct Han Solo or Solo?
No, that's Phil Lord.
Phil Lord.
Gotcha.
From 21 Jump Street and Lego Movie.
Jump Street.
Because I knew a
Lego
comedian director was supposed to do that.
Yeah. But James Gunn, I don't know if he's got any toes dipped into comedy, but I mean, if his writing, he wrote this movie.
What do you mean? Try super. He used to do...
No. What I'm saying is, like, if he's like a stand-up comic, I don't know if he's like... I don't know much about James Gunn before he started directing movies, so...
Well, he actually was a writer. Like, he wrote Dawn of the Dead. He wrote Scooby-Doo. Right. He was, like, writing forever.
Right. And it's great. I think he's a pretty good writer. I think that the stuff that he's writing pretty good. I don't want to undersell him. He's a great writer. He's really good. So let's get into what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast. I'll start. I just finished this today. This is so great. Like, it's a perfect blend of like The Boys meets Invincible meets like all the other superhero stuff that's going on today. But there are some things that I kind of laugh because now they're like stereotypes. But I really liked this film. I thought this was really funny. I really enjoyed myself. I found myself laughing. And I think that the actors and the people that worked on this movie found themselves laughing too. No one took themselves too seriously, so that was a delight. So I like this movie for the first time, and I'm definitely going to be rewatching it again. So Jordan, what was it like watching this movie for the first time, rewatching it for the podcast?
So I saw it in the theater with Tatiana. And we had a good time. We were laughing a lot.
You look over and you're like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. And she's like, yeah, okay. Just promise me you'll take me to the wedding, I don't know, the wedding planner or something afterwards.
No, afterwards we ended up watching 21 Jump Street. Then the next day we ended up watching The Hangover.
You're like, we're going to watch all of, that's Todd Phillips. But yeah, like all of these other movies. Like, because I guess James Gunn did do 21 Jump Street, right? Or is that Phil Lord?
That's Phil Lord.
See, now I'm getting confused. Yeah, so you're like, we're going to watch all the funniest movies. And that's so funny when you get in this mood. You're like, I just want to watch all these funny movies. This was such a funny movie. I loved it.
Well, and she was sick, and so she was looking to kind of elevate herself mentally or whatever. This movie...
She was sick mentally? Or wait, I'm
No,
confused.
she was sick physically, but she wanted to, like the
Elevate
placebo
yourself
thing.
mentally.
No,
You're
like
she was sick. She wanted
She
to elevate
wanted to be
herself mentally. I
awoken.
was like,
to another plane of understanding. So she watched The Suicide Squad.
the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad. Awesome.
Yeah, and so anyways, I saw it in theater, loved it, and then I'm like, I wanted to watch it right away the very next day. But Tatiana's like, maybe let's not watch it. And so I watched Moonrise Kingdom with Cameron instead. But I'm so glad I got to rewatch it, though, off of HBO Max. I'm so glad they're streaming it. Gosh dang, this movie's hilarious, so I got to see it twice.
HBO Max.
And I was surprised. I loved it just as much the second time. Although I did skip over Harley Quinn scenes the second time. I liked it watching it the first time, but I don't know.
How dare you? How dare you?
Sorry, Cameron. I'm not a huge
You
Margot
skipped
Robbie
over
fan.
all of her scenes, or
You mean
just
you're
like
gay?
the sex scene?
No, all her scenes.
Oh, okay.
She's not. She's just.
I will actually say, Jordan, I cringed on the first Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what everyone liked about her. Maybe on some level, some people found her amusing and charming and everything, and I was like, I don't see it. I think she's really
Besides the
annoying.
fact that
But
she's
I
the
would
most
say
gorgeous
this
woman
time
ever,
around, I found her really funny. I think that they used her like. I don't know, used her correctly, like used her character, and they tapped into something that was really funny. Like the manic, psychotic, one of my favorite lines from this movie was just like, and if you tell them that we're coming, we're going to kill you. And if we find out that you have customized license plates, we'll kill you. And he's like, no.
If you don't cover your mouth and
if you don't
cough.
cover your mouth, we're going to kill you. And she's like, no, those last two. Now, that being said, don't think that if that gives you permission to cough without covering your mouth. I was dying. I thought it was such a funny scene. I was like, that's so great. Anyway, Harley Quinn made me laugh. Like, Margot Robbie did a good job because I think she's tapping into
Harley
what
Quinn?
her potential was. What's that?
Never mind. Sound like you said Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn? No, Harley Quinn.
I know. I'm not
Harley
kidding.
Quinn. Harley Quinn, dude. Dude, don't even come at me, bro. I've been watching Batman anime series before you were you were in diapers, Kim. All right,
Before
so,
you were born, yeah. I don't think you
like
understand how
yesterday.
close
You were wearing
we are
diapers
in
yesterday,
age.
so don't take it that seriously.
I was like,
okay?
I was watching them since I was 3.
Dude, I'm like, I don't know how much
7
older I am.
years older
I
than
feels
me.
like I'm ancient compared to you guys.
7 years.
7 years. Too long. So
and
I
Grant
would
were just
say
the two
that I
mistakes.
think they tapped into Harley Quinn much better this time around than the first time. And also Idris Elba better than Will Smith, which is weird because I
Surprising.
secretly now think that Idris Elba might be more charming than Will Smith. Crazy.
Cameron, do you know who directed the first Suicide Squad?
At least
The
these
guy
days.
who did Fury. That's why it sucks.
Fury is a masterpiece, dude. Don't
Fury
even.
sucks.
You
Fury is
saw
a
it the same
good
night
movie.
as Nightcrawler, so don't talk to me.
Yeah, we haven't seen it since. That's to be fair. So we should probably try to
Exactly,
try that
and that's
movie
what I've
again.
told Jordan like 4,000 times. He's like, It's a fetching masterpiece with Brad Pitt in it. He won't
It's
freaking
just
give it a
so
second
weird when
chance.
you you have like an indie film.
Yes, but when you compare it
compared
to
like,
one of the
this
top
big
10
thing.
films of all time, okay?
For sure. Isn't that sad? Like we could have watched anything else and it would have been just the same thing. Where it's like it wasn't as good as the other.
You could have
movie
watched
I
it the
saw.
same night as Batman v Superman.
Yeah, right. I could have watched it the same night that I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane, right? And then maybe I would have felt differently.
Yeah, and you would have been like, wow, that was really good.
No, but Nightcrawler and 10 Cloverfield, I'm like, what a great performance from John Goodman. What a great performance from Jake Gyllenhaal. Are these my two favorite actors? And then I would have been like, why did you say that name? Okay, so we've got, what are your first impressions, Grant, that you watched this movie?
Well, so I've only seen this once, but I really enjoyed it. They just lean into the humor so well. They just embrace it, that they're so quirky and everything. And it just really rolls with this film. So it was just really fun, just adventure watching this movie. So
Yeah, this reminded me of Rogue One, where I felt more for that shark and the polka-dotted man like I did for that robot. I was like,
Yes.
gosh dang.
Yes.
I know.
Can we all just agree that Amanda Waller's the true villain in this freaking movie?
For real. And then she gets
Is that Viola Davis's
smacked across
character?
the face at the
Yeah, it's
end.
the black lady.
Yeah, Viola Davis, she's great. You love to hate her. I think she did a really good job at this role. And it's interesting because I always think of her so stoic, and that's what I think was missing the first one. Because I didn't like her in the original Suicide Squad because I'm like, oh, she's that annoying person at the office, and they did a really good job at using her, like threatening her, and she was losing her cool. I loved that. I thought that was like one of my favorite parts, when she's freaking out. She's like, stop! I order you to stop, motherfucker! She's like freaking
She's
out.
crazy.
Like, I love that. So, Cameron, how about you? What was it like watching it for the first time? And then if you've re-seen it or seen it again rewatched
Put me
it.
next to a werewolf. Oh, let me out of here. Sorry, I had to do my opening quote. I love that. Oh, I'm next to a werewolf.
I got a thing
I
about
gotta get out of
werewolves,
here, man.
Dude, he is hilarious in SNL.
Yeah, I was.
Is he really? I don't know. I think Pete Davidson has the most punchable face of all time. I was so relieved what happened to him, but
Oh my gosh.
I was so happy to see his face get shot in. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Wait, is that the guy? Is that the guy who was like I'm the one who called in?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I thought we had a
called you
deal, right, guys?
It's okay. I'm here. I'm here. Guys, they're all right here. Which is so funny because I literally had this thought while I watched that. I was like, there is a market out there for deep fakes that are going to be like murdering the people that you hate most. And they're going to be able to like put the people that you hate so much on like different bodies and characters in movies or whatever. You can make your own movie. This is the future, guys. I'm just saying. And the deep fake, you're going to have like your boss or somebody that you hate and he just gets his head caved in. It's going to be like this weird, sick, sadistic fantasy world that everyone gets to live in about killing all their enemies on screen.
You're describing Westworld, Ty.
Is that what happens in Westworld? I haven't seen Westworld.
That's more.
yet, so.
That's more Minority Report, though.
No, that's Westworld, dude. Westworld, people just live out their they just like go back in time as like a cowboy.
Yeah, but
and
they're
just
not
live their
people
fantasy.
you know. They're not people you know.
Yeah, but still, they live out your fantasies. Like some of them just go in there just so they
murder
can kill people,
a boss.
or
Yeah, it
just so they
doesn't-
can people. It's like
Yeah, but
what
you
the
don't
fuck?
remember Minority Report when that chubby guy goes in? He's like, I would like to murder my boss.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like, you sick bastard. Oh, that's right.
Cameron, did you say your thing?
No.
Yeah,
So
we
yeah,
was-
so
we was
I
in the middle
watched
of it.
it for the first time. I like to get mad at me, Jordan. He gets cutting me off and like,
No,
hey, you
sorry.
gotta say.
No, sorry.
Hey, Cameron, finish your thought, please.
And so, yeah, I watched it for the first time for the pod. I also watched the original, and I was extremely disappointed. It was a dumpster fire. And
Okay, wait, you just rewatched the original, or
no,
or-
I started off, I watched the original before this, and then I watched the James Gunn version yesterday.
Okay, no, so
Well,
you
when did you
just
watch
rewatched the old
yeah,
one?
Suicide. That's what I'm
No.
asking.
You're talking very weird, bud.
I watched the first one before this, obviously. That's what I'm saying.
When?
No,
How
but
long
when?
Ago? Yeah,
You're
why
not
didn't
saying
you
when.
bring
like
this
4
up?
years
We've all seen
ago.
it.
Holy shit.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
we saw it in the
all
theater
watched
together.
It too, Cameron. Yeah, we all saw it.
okay,
Yeah.
in the
oh,
theater.
oh my gosh, you guys
But
were
you
like,
keep-
thought you were
I
saying
just thought you were
like
getting
days
context.
ago.
I thought you just rewatched.
Yeah, you said I
Suicide
watched
Squad
it,
to
and
watch
then you
this.
said
I
I
was
watched
saying I
this.
watched that before I watched this, and like all
Yeah,
I
stop saying it
Can we
like
all
So
that.
did
agree-
everyone.
Can we all
so did
agree to
every other
vote Cameron?
person on this?
Can we all agree to vote Cameron off the podcast for not understanding, just continuity?
Yeah,
here?
you're
I'm
not
just so
speaking English, dude.
Yeah. No, I get it. He's just adding context to his relationship to this movie. Yes, Cameron, just so you know, all of us on the pod have all watched Suicide Squad as well.
So that's all I was prefacing is for the listeners to understand that I've seen both. And I was very disappointed with the first one, and this one was like a relief. And I was really
The
enjoyable.
Enchantress bringing that beam of light was like the best thing that happened in 2000. When did that movie come out?
17,
18?
16.
When she's like dancing and contorting her body. That's like so good.
Or
dude.
how about
I
how about
refer
the
to
guy
that
of the
all the
Slipknot that
time.
can climb out of anything? This is Katana.
This is Katana. I
Katana.
suggest you not get cut by her sword. It traps the souls of her enemies. And I'm just like, this movie sucks.
And never traps any souls as far as I can remember.
Nope,
So
never showed it. But yeah, so watching this new one, I was like, it was like I said, it was a relief and a delight. So much fun. I was surprised at how much language, and because I forgot like the difference of being a PG-13 to R. But I thought it was really fun.
Language and the naked guy getting shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the most unnecessary naked man. I mean, even less unnecessary than the naked women in the changing room. Like, I don't know. Somehow that added context because I'm like, oh, they ran into a changing room. But, like, the naked dude just with a shirt, no pants on, gets shot in his window, in his doorway. Like, who the fudge opens their doorway
Yeah.
in the encampment of, like, all these other men?
Yeah.
Like, hello, world.
I know. I was like, oh, that's his. I'm like, that's his underwear. I'm like, that's not his underwear. That's his.
Yeah.
I was
Very
like,
weird.
what the fudge?
So weird. Like,
And then you saw the other guy's buttocks after he had or with Harley
Although
Quinn.
when you saw John Cena in his underwear, that was hilarious. Those tidy whities.
Yeah, it was
So
Hey,
funny.
that's racist.
so funny. I gotta
It's like,
say,
why are you whitey tidies? He's like, don't say that's racist.
dude, I think The Rock is missing a performance like this.
Yeah.
Because I am now on a John Cena train. I didn't really care for him all
He
that
is
much.
so funny.
He is so darn funny.
I was
He's
actually mad at
so
the end
funny.
when he turns
He's
evil.
psychotic too.
Oh yeah. No, Cameron. Yeah, I got like serious Homelander vibes a little
Yeah.
bit, but it was such a good bait
Yeah.
and switch because at the beginning I'm like kind of rooting for him. Like I didn't see any reason not to. Oh gosh, guys, this movie's great. So love it. I gotta say, so I want to get into two of our
I don't
favorite
care how
things.
many women and children I have to kill to keep it.
to keep the peace. Yeah. It's like, dude, me and
love that
toilet
quote.
seat over there. He's like, it's not a toilet seat.
It's a beacon of
It's a
freedom.
beacon of freedom. Dude, the jazz of the costumes and the okay, so I'm going to say two of my favorite things. One, I love the character arcs and the fact that their powers actually affect the world they live in and the characters to each other. What really bothered me about the first one, it's like, here's the crocodile. Like, Cameron, you mentioned the quote, like, this is Katana.
This
she
is
has the sword.
Katana.
Never comes back into play. And again, I'm sure they had reshoots and like all these story things, but in the end, it's like, then go back and cut that part out of it. Like they're introducing all these characters and all of their stories have nothing to do with each other. And they also don't impact each other in any physical way. What I loved about this is how...
I struggle, and then I just imagine
Idris
that they're
Elba
my
with
mom.
the rat lady, with the rat whisperer. I thought that was so great. His phobia of rats. The shark man, like wanting to almost eat some of the other members of his team. There was so many great... and then Virus Boy that was infected by this virus from his mother.
I love. I hate especially when
Polka-dot
especially like a
King
Suicide
or whatever.
Squad
I'm going to
like
call him the
that.
Polka-dot King. Not Polka King, but the Polka-dot King.
Yeah, because I hate that too, especially in a Suicide Squad. Like, there's supposed to be turmoil and like a lot of like power, like hungry battle and like the struggle,
Yeah.
of, like who's in charge and why should I
Villains.
take, like, I don't give a frick about you. Yeah, and so I hate it when they're always just like, oh yeah, we're a team. Like they had that in the 1st
We're a
one where
team.
they're just like, oh, we're all here at this bar. We are together. And I'm like, what? You guys have no connection and no purpose.
And
to, like,
what's
fight
so
together.
good, yes, and what was so good is we got to see them in action together. And then by the time that they have a bar scene in this movie, I noticed that too, Cameron. They literally had the bar scene, and it's like, this is how we properly do it. And I almost think it's like James Gunn slapping
Totally. That's totally how
the
I
previous
felt.
Suicide Squads in the face. But it's like, see, like they've been through hell. They went through D-Day, their own D-Day, right? Like, you know, on the beach, they got mutilated and shot up and everything, and they've been through a lot together. And so there's that great scene where they'll have like a moment of levity where they're like on the job, but they're going to wait until Brainiac appears or whatever his name is. So it was a great moment of levity, and you're like, they actually are bonding and they're growing. So I love that. They seem to be interacting with each other, which is something that was totally missing in the other one. And it's really hard to get an ensemble cast like this because you have big stars, each one of them competing for time and the lines and everything, and each one of them had something to do and had an amazing character arc. So I loved that about this movie. And then, yeah, I would argue the second one, I just loved how funny it was. It was so funny. I just found myself laughing out loud. And I would just say, to their credit, it had good suiciding. At the very beginning, I'm like, this is your team of heroes. It's got Merle from The Walking Dead. Jai Courtney is back. And I was like, Margot Robbie. And I was like, how is Jai Courtney in this movie? Further proof that he is the greatest agent in Hollywood movie history. But then he gets killed. And I was like, and all these people that get killed. And it's like, almost like, I always found it like a moment where James Gunn is like, hey, remember the old one? And he just kills it in the first like 4 or 5 minutes,
Well,
right?
did you
And
think
I
of
was like,
Thor
Jai
Ragnarok a
Courtney
little
was
bit,
one of the
Ty?
few-
Like how
Yeah.
they kind of killed off all the other characters and kind of Taika Waititi kind of re-established.
Yeah, it was reinventing it, which
Yeah.
is, again, literally why you shot or like exploded Jai Courtney. Like, they literally killed the Boomerang Man. And there was some reverence, I guess. But again, it's like, this is
Reference,
not...
what are you talking about? Are they making
Yeah.
bets on who's going to die?
Well, that comes later. That's right. No, they were making bets on the beach. No, but like, yeah, in the end, like, I'm not saying like they didn't make a mockery of Jai Courtney. It's not like his fault that Suicide Squad sucked. But the Suicide Squad, this reamped version of it, it's colorful, it's funny, it's dark, it's all the things. So anyway, just I liked that aspect of it, that there was actually a lot of suiciding. Like, it seemed like a lot of people were dying. I guess not killing themselves, but like Suicide Squad, I imagined there would be death. And if you think about it, it's only the Boomerang that dies in like the Suicide Squad, right? I mean, in Suicide Squad, is he the only guy that dies in that movie?
I don't even remember, dude.
That's my point. Like, no one dies. In this movie, there were real stakes. People were dying left and right, and I love that. Real stakes.
Well, Slipknot
Raise the
dies
roof.
because he like they wanted to show that the little things in their head could work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's
but-
why...
And he was like there so they could remove that character so you could still keep Will Smith and Margot. Like, why not kill one of them? Of course not, because they're the big stars. They literally brought an extra person so they could kill for that moment. This one, it's like, your whole first team that you start to like and get accustomed to, they all die. It reminds me of like Deadpool 2. You're like, this whole team assembles, you've gotten to know them for a bit, and then they're just gone. It's like, oh, shoot. Like, okay, starting over from scratch. So then you meet this other team, and I'm like, I don't know if I can be emotionally invested. And then they go back to earlier, and you get to meet them. It's so good. I think it's so great. Grant, how about you? 2 of your favorite things from this movie?
Well, I love what you said about the humor, so I won't talk more about that. But I love.
Oh, cheater. Grant's like, let me just mention everything Ty mentioned and then add my other 4. Gosh, that's why I hate having you 2 go first.
Whatever.
nothing
I
So,
usually
I
have you go first.
I think my
That's not
number
true.
one first that I noticed was the artsy style of the costumes and like the chapter letterings that they did.
Oh,
like,
yes.
They would do like the
Oh,
fire and the smoke, and then like they would do like different, like the wood sticking out, and then like they changed the different angle, and it's like just different pieces of wood and
Yeah, when it changed
stuff
to
like
Mission
that. Like
Harley.
it's really clever, and then just the costumes were really, really funny, and just like they lean into that, like just like the toilet seat head like joke. It's like they lean into that. It just makes it so good in the movie. I think my second favorite thing, I felt like emotional connection to the characters. Like in the other movie, you didn't care if they died. Like, but in this
I
one,
was
you're
hoping
just
they
like,
would. I was hoping
really like
someone
these
would
guys.
die. Yeah, I was hoping someone would die.
Right.
Well, the
exactly.
flame guy, he
So-
did. Remember, he sacrificed himself,
Yeah,
but
he
there was like no
sacrificed.
weight.
Oh, Diablo. That's right.
Wait, so did he die or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
died.
sacrificed
He died.
himself.
He became like the supernova dude to kill Enchantress.
That's right.
Dancing.
See, I don't even remember how he died, though.
I don't
Like, turned
either.
into fire.
I just remember he
Yeah.
died.
Burned up. He self-sacrificed, but it did nothing. His sacrifice didn't mean anything, did it? Unless
I don't
I
think
guess
so.
he killed.
Maybe he killed Enchantress. I don't know.
But I don't know why I cared about him in the first place. Did he have like some purpose? And like,
I think
see,
he had a
that's
son.
how
I think he had a
forgettable it
son or
was.
something. I don't know, or a daughter.
Probably. Hey, I have a son. Okay. Couldn't care less, dude. Like, yeah, that's.
So they made them such likable characters because, like, I was worried that bringing in Bloodsport, like, I thought at first I didn't know anything about the characters that were coming in, so I thought they were bringing in Deadshot again, just with a different like actor. And so, like, I was really glad
they
that they
couldn't
did a
land
different.
Will Smith, so they landed
Yeah.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
So I was glad that they did a different character, and they still made him like really likable, and like he was such a great leader of the team.
Cameron,
He
which
was-
mask did you like better? This Bloodsport mask, or did you like the one from?
The Deadshot? I don't know, dude. It's freaking hard. Because I think this one is super dope. I think
Isn't
the other
it?
one is like very clean. It's very clean looking.
I love his mask.
The like Deadshot's mask is very clean looking, like how I would want a mercenary. But like he's so intimidating. Like I'm like, if I saw that dude coming at me, I'm like, I surrender. That's what's supposed to be in Black Widow. Taskmaster, he has the dopest mask in the cartoons. Like he's like so his mask is very similar.
He looked like
to
a G.I.
Idris-
Joe.
Yeah, see, in like Idris Elba's mask and like Bloodsport, his mask of like that bottom part is essentially the whole mask for Taskmaster in the comics, or not in the comics, in the cartoon.
Looks a lot like Skeletor, you know?
Yeah.
But from He-Man.
So it totally looks like the alien.
Yeah, it does
black.
kind of have the alien. Yeah, the whole. Dude, I like. Actually, I did get a visual of that. I'm glad you said that. I actually put that in my notes here. It just looks kind of sleek, but it has the jaw of like a. It did look like one of those xenomorphs or whatever. Jordan, how about you? What are your 2 favorites? Or actually, sorry, Cameron. We don't
No,
want to
Jordan
take all
can
of
go.
them
Jordan
for
can
you.
go first.
Jordan, go. All right, Jordan, you go.
I'm not a
Well,
savage like you two.
I just wanted to say my 2 favorite characters. So I love Polka-dot Man. Like I am obsessed with
Yes.
him.
That was my
So-
debatable quote. I'm a motherfucking superhero.
Yes. Yes, I said at the beginning, I love him so much. And like when he died, I was like devastated. And that's like the weight I wanted to feel from the first Suicide Squad movie. I wanted to feel something for anybody. I was just like, I feel nothing for anyone. It was driving me nuts. That's why this movie is so much fun, because you like actually care about these people. And like even when John Cena turned evil, like I was like kind of bummed because I was like, I liked you. No.
Yep.
Like, don't be evil. It's like,
I love
Evil
Flag,
Joe
dude. I
Jordan.
was
He's
so
just trying
sad
to.
about
He's just trying to
Flag.
keep the peace.
I don't know. She even pointed out, like, why didn't you just crush the thing and leave me out of this? Like,
Yeah.
And instead,
No, he was out
that's
for
when I
blood.
knew that's when I knew he
very
was
thorough.
He had gone too far. Because
Well, no, but the only thing I understand is if you're going for that perspective, because if you're thinking you like the U.S. government, like he is, he doesn't want her to even be a witness to that he like of anything, you know, and that she witnessed like
some
that.
House of Cards shiz in here.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you guys. Like, to be honest, I almost wasn't in the least bit surprised about any of this. Just in the end, where I'm like, right now, to get a movie greenlit, all you have to do is say, like, America is this evil place, and the bureaucrats and the
I
powers
was
that
not the
be.
biggest fan of that undertone.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. To get a movie like this greenlit, that's all you have to do, and that's why you get the critics on your side. Because, like, if there wasn't any of that messaging, it's like audiences would love it, and critics would be like, I don't know, it didn't say anything about addressing the. It's like,
I was
the noble
enjoying
lie,
looking at
all
the
that
stars
stuff.
in space. I'm like, okay, Patrick Star, settle down.
I also just thought it was interesting that, you know, like, I still enjoyed it, though. Like, it didn't get in the way. Like, the messaging,
Yes.
it's like, okay, we can all agree, like, things have been done that
Yeah.
aren't pleasant in the past, but name a freaking country on earth that's better. And again, that's me coming to America's defense. I don't really care either way. It's a movie. But it just seems like a motif now. It seems like it is a stereotype now in movies, or a cliche at this point, just because I've seen it so many times. Like if you watch Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's literally the whole
Yeah, but that
story.
jammed it down your throat. This kind of
Yes,
it was
it
like,
certainly was more subtle.
And that's
yes.
and the thing I did enjoy too is they also showed, kind of like you were talking about, their other countries were like corrupt and like terrible people.
Yes.
And so and I also enjoyed too, they even showed, like, even though America, like, as a whole, like the people in power might be bad, it's like you still had the soldiers, like what's his name, who got stabbed, which was such a sad
Flag.
death.
Captain Flag.
Yeah, Captain Flag, like, he was still a good guy and was like, no, this is messed up. Like, I'm gonna take this to the press. So, like, it's like, okay, the machine in itself might be evil, but the parts of the machine aren't completely evil, which I kind of felt like that was also like a vibe that was talking
Wasn't
about.
Captain, it was Colonel, by the way. Just show some respect. You Colonel Flag, dude.
Okay, I was
Red
going to say
flag.
my second favorite thing is the shark. James Gunn is so
Nom
good
nom.
with his characters.
shark.
Nom nom.
Yeah, seriously, like when he was in the car,
No,
and they were
not
all
nom
partying inside, and
Yeah, and he's just like
he's in the car and just sitting there.
He's
I was like, oh, it was so sad
Feel
for
bad
him.
for him. Yeah.
I'll put on fake mustache. Yeah, that's
I'll put
fooling
on fake
nobody.
mustache. Yeah, you're gonna disguise yourself. See, look, he's already learning Spanish.
Well, and then when he finally made his like more dumb friends, and I just thought he made friends there, and then they attacked him, and it was like, and then he fell off the building. I thought he died. I was like, oh my gosh, did he just die?
I know. I was like, no.
And then they're shooting him. I was like, no.
Yeah, good thing he's got fetching tough
He
ass
just gets
skin.
up.
Dude, it was so cute though, and he just like huddles up, dude. Yeah, I was worried about him. I was like, oh no. I gotta say, the other thing I would add is I'm really grateful that. So has everyone shared their two
Cameron,
favorite things? Because I'm gonna
Oh,
keep
my
gushing.
goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't
Excuse me.
everyone just say anything they ever thought was cool in this movie?
I just gotta say, I'm gonna take the rest of the good things about this movie. Cameron, what are your two favorite things?
Yeah, my favorite thing has kind of already been harped on a lot. I just think that the best thing about this film is just the gravity to deaths and jokes and relationships, because like you felt for Bloodsport, just because like what I hate is sometimes when they try to show like a person who's in jail, like, and then they have like a perfect relationship with their daughter or whatever. I'm like, what the fudge? Like, I love how
Get out of here.
yeah, like I'm like, okay,
F you. F me.
no, F you, no, F you.
Great parenting.
Great parenting, yeah. I just stole from someone, and your only advice is steal something of more value. Yeah, you stole one of the stupid bracelets.
A watch that you can watch TV on.
Watch you can watch TV on. Still something more valuable, he said. I thought that was so funny. So great. Oh my gosh. The music worked. I thought the music was fun.
Yeah.
Another thing that I loved is the colors. Like, the movie's really bright and beautiful.
Yes, where
There were
the
moments where it's
first
dark.
one was like all grim and like dark, and you couldn't see anything.
Can't say anything. I loved just how colorful the enemy was. This bright starfish. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Rick and Morty too, where like the face huggers from Alien meets like the episodes of Rick and Morty where they get those face huggers on their face.
I just loved kind of the, like, because then it, like when he's like having the F you, no F you, like I just felt like it was very real, because I'm like, and he's like, I didn't want you, like your mom left you, and it's you see kind of the tough situation, and that's why it's like so heartwarming at the end when she's like, that's my dad. Like, kind of understands, like, yeah, he may not be the perfect dad, but like he still is like a good guy, like underneath all, like, I love it. She's like, the rat.
I knew my
kills a
rat
lot of
saw
people.
some good in you.
Yeah, like I love that, and so
right.
Is that rat
Taika
waving at me?
Waititi, dude. Taika Waititi with a cameo.
I
He's the
know.
homeless
I was-
rat
he's like-
Piper guy.
As
That was
soon
so
as
funny.
as soon as I saw it for the first time, I
I
looked
know,
it
that
up
was a
on
funny
IMDb.
cameo.
I'm like, is that? And then it shows him like with the big cameo. I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely Taika.
Definitely Taika,
but yeah,
dude.
like one thing that I thought was like, I don't know, there was a lot of moments that like subverted my expectations and I just thought were very realistic, which I really enjoyed. Like kind of like when they get on the beach, like a lot of people just died and I was just like, holy shiz. And like it's kind of like it gave me the Invincible feeling where I'm like, you get to know these like guys like Darkwing and all these people. I'm like, these guys are sick. And then Red Rush, and then just like boom, they're dead. And I'm like, what the fudge, man? Like those guys are sick. And then like I just like, and then another thing that just like caught me out by surprise is I loved how kind of quirky all of their relationships were. Like I love how like you see his arc of like, oh, I'm gonna pet this rat, you know, like that was like such a big step for him. And then you find out why it was so hard for him with the rats is because like his dad locked him in a cage with like hungry rats because he like wasn't doing it, and you're just like, holy shiz, and you understand why he's as like messed up as he is.
Yeah.
And so that's I
And
love.
it was so easy just to be like, oh, I'm scared of rats, but I love that there was a reason behind it about his upbringing, why he couldn't connect to his father, and why his daughter couldn't connect to him.
And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah,
like
and it was
like
just
Jordan
dialogue.
Same thing with the shark. Like all you do have to do is show him for like 15 seconds in the car, just kind of like, like kind of like lonely, and you're like, oh man, little guy's so.
He just wants to find connection. He wants friends. Yeah.
And so like I just loved like all those things that I just thought were like really. It just made the movie really real because like none of the relationships were perfect, and I liked how even like none of them were like really best friends, but it's kind of like, hey, we can work together, you know.
Oh, Ty, I just realized we forgot to mention probably one of the funniest scenes is when they open up the tent and then the guy's like sipping tea and they're like, why didn't my guards alert me?
Oh yeah. We didn't see any guards.
I must have missed that scene. When was that?
No, that's when they murdered everybody.
They killed all
then
the
they come up
village.
on the sergeant, and then he's just drinking tea with her.
And it
she's
turns
like,
out
oh,
he
that's
killed all the
right.
freedom fighters.
That's right. That's right. That's who they killed, right? Yeah, because they're just chilling there. I love that. That's so
They
funny.
killed all those people.
Dude, they slaughtered them. Oh my, the John Cena when he's stabbing the guy on the table multiple times with his axe was so funny. I thought of Jordan when he did that.
Yeah. Slice, 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 slice. Yeah, that's so great. So, real quick, I just wanted to throw out, so some of the actors in this movie, there's so many. Holy crap. There's Margot Robbie, Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester Stallone is
The shark.
the voice of the shark.
No way.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's King
Yeah,
Shark.
did you guys not know that?
No.
Yeah, I looked that up.
Looking for
Yeah.
Fred, you know?
No.
It's Rocky, dude. It's got John Cena, Joel Kinnaman. It's got Nathan Fillion. I don't know if you
Starfish
recognize
is
him.
very
It's TDK.
num-num.
Funniest guy, by the way. Viola Davis, Michael Rooker, who plays the servant guy or savant that's trying to swim away and gets his head popped out. It's so sad.
Dude, I love the weasel.
got-
The weasel was so funny when he's just like
Yeah, the
drowns, and then at the end he's like just actually alive.
Weasel, dude. Jai Courtney. It's got Flula Borg, who's like I only know him from like his YouTube video beatboxing. I thought that was really funny to see him as an
that was
actor.
so
Loved
funny to
him.
see him.
As Javelin. Mei-Ling NG. I don't know.
What about the guy from Firefly? I
don't know how to pronounce that last
He like
name.
pops his arms
Mongol.
off and he's just like.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Superpowers. I loved it. Pete Davidson.
so funny.
He's just getting
Sean
shot
Gunn is
up
the
and
And his
weasel.
arms getting shot and he's on the ground rolling.
There was just so many actors in this movie. Like, you want to talk about just a loaded cast. And Brainiac,
Taika
is he one of the
Waititi.
Doctor Who's? Yeah, Taika Waititi shows up for his cameo. This movie's great, guys. I gotta say, this, what an ensemble. And I forgot to give the plot summation. It doesn't really matter, but it's just like all the supervillains and a collection of nutty cons at Belle Reve Prison join the super secret, super shady Task Force X, and they are dropped off at the remote island of, what was it called? I wrote it down. Corto Maltese or something like that. Yeah. And that's pretty much the whole plot. Like, there's
honestly,
not much
Jordan,
to it, but
the
it's
one
great.
thing about the Margot
You follow
Robbie
the
scenes
story.
that I thought was really funny was the Hispanic guy. I thought was really funny how he was like,
Oh, it was
over the
so
top
funny.
romantic or whatever, and he just like had like the perfect body, and he just like comes like, excuse my appearance, comes out of just like the hot tub, just like
Yeah, he walks up like in a
in a
Speedo
thong.
or something.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the fudge?
That was great. Yeah, and then they have this like this romantic moment in this movie.
And then she's like, just murders him. She's like, hi. She's like, I promised myself that I'd look out for red flags, and wanting to kill children is a red flag.
it's great.
So I do the healthy thing and murder them.
Yes. Do the- I would say the visuals are really cool too. Like, so Harley Quinn's moments, there were two of them.
Oh
where
yeah,
she
Yeah.
escaped
she's
the
fighting
prison.
in the flowers.
Yeah, I thought that was really clever because again, it's like it's really dark, and you can have a dark comedy, but it doesn't need to be all dark and grim. Like you can have bright, beautiful colors, and the action and what's happening will speak for itself. Sometimes I think people want to establish a mood, and they want to like lower the lights, and you can't see anything, and it's all gray and it's all boring. But that's like bright, brilliant, and you're like in the middle of the day doing a jailbreak, and she's just murdering all these security guards. It's so
that's
great.
That's also what I loved about that scene is because that's one thing that kind of is a pet peeve, like in some action and like heist movies, is everything just timing wise just flows so smoothly without any communication. That's why I love that she like escapes right as they're about to go in, and then they're like, "Oh, we had this super
I could
elaborate
go back
plan.
in.
Yeah, I can go
We're
back
here
in.
to
I'm
save you."
sorry."
I'll go back
She's
inside.
like
You guys
so
can break
sad.
me out.
Yeah.
I
But so
loved
that's
it.
why
That was
I
see,
appreciated
very
that.
good use of Harley Quinn. I liked it, and it wasn't even like I didn't even get the sense it's like I'm female and empowerment. It was like I'm a psychotic person, and it worked.
Yeah.
Like she was
Oh, yeah.
crazy,
Dude, yeah,
murdering everybody.
that look
It was
that she
fine.
gives him
Perfect.
after fake passing out. Oh my gosh. I'm like, that is the look
Yeah,
of Satan.
when she's like, she's hanging up there. She's handcuffed and dangling, and then she like pretends to be asleep. The guy's got his back to her, and then she like snaps onto him, and then uses her legs to crush his head. I loved that.
When
I
she
thought
picked
that
him
was really
up, that
good.
was insane. Picked him up.
Yeah.
with her
What's the second
thighs.
visual tie you were going to say when she jumps inside the eye of the starfish? That was so
Yes,
great.
at the very
That was
end, it was
dope.
another great visual, which was super gross and grotesque, but like beautiful at the same time. I'm like,
All
that's
those rats.
really well done. On the rats, it was like a beautiful thing. All the rats going in, you're like, it's a beautiful thing, even though it's super disgusting.
And they're like all
Yeah.
just and see, honestly, I would say like that's not realistic, but the fact that it's in like South America or off the coast of South America, I believe that there's that many rats in that city, dude. Holy shit.
Dude, from the beginning of the movie, dude, she was calling all the rats, dude. Once she saw that squid thing, she's like, better get over here and eat this thing quick, dude. I loved it. I thought it was so funny. I also liked the stakes where they were murdering those people with the starfish face, and they were like killing civilians even though they tried to go and help. It just raised the stakes where it's like Idris Elba is now like trying to kill this giant starfish when he could have gone off and saved his own life. Mission accomplished. And then against Viola Davis's command, they're like going into battle to stop this thing. I loved that. I thought that was a great moment where the whole squad comes together. And in the end, it's like maybe they shouldn't have done. Well, again, these are like anti-heroes. These are all cons, right? I mean, like I don't actually know. I've never read any of the Suicide Squad, but like, isn't the Joker part of it? He always was, right? So he's always a villain. He's looking out for his best interest. But in other movies and renditions, like Injustice and stuff, he does team up with good guys to stop a greater threat, like alien invasions and stuff. Because like,
Well, it's 'cause,
life's no fun if these aliens come in and take over. Like
yeah.
I can't live in corruption and joy and pain and whatever, right? So I liked that. But like what was really fun at the end, they all learned something and they're like, well, we can stop this evil alien. I just thought that was really cool. And also at the trade of their freedom, right? And I thought that was a great moment where it's like selfishly, some of the team wanted to reveal the tape because that's what Colonel Flagg died trying to get out, and then the other members were like, I'm selfish, I want to go free. And I thought that was really good because it reminded me of like watching the movie The Watchmen, where I'm like, I'm morally torn because these aren't good guys and they're not, they're not good people. And I love that. Like that's how it should be. Like I loved this adventure and I did root for them many, many times. And at the end, I'm like, they're gonna just do what's in their best interest, and I'm like, thank you, for doing that. Like
that's what
they
makes
already
the
did
boys
the
so good.
one
Is because
thing-
you see the superheroes with ulterior motives. It's like they have their own interests.
Yes,
Like
yes,
their
because,
their
again-
interests at first, like at heart first.
Yeah, even in the face of death, they were going to go back and save those people, on top of the fact that they would get executed just for attempting, which is crazy. So it's like double the stakes. Like, she's going to murder you right now. And I kept thinking, like, Viola Davis is going to have a conscience. I'd love that the people at the office just whacked her across the head with their golf club. Thought that was a great, again, a callback. Like, they showed this scene where she's golfing, and of course, where would they get a golf club in the office? Viola Davis provided. I love that. I love the callbacks. Looking at you, Jai Courtney, with the pink unicorn. Never came to play in the original Suicide Squad. So anyway, there's a pink unicorn. I know you guys don't remember this, but there's like literally a scene where he loves his unicorn, and he has like a stuffed animal unicorn at the end of the movie. You see it again, but it doesn't do anything. So anyway,
Yeah,
callbacks.
I don't remember
Good.
that.
Nice work, team. Yeah, I know you don't remember because it was so forgettable. So anyway, guys, do you guys have any nitpicks or yeah, let's get into quotes. Oh my gosh, there were so many quotes. I wrote some
so
down.
many quotes, dude.
Okay, here we go.
I love
mean,
I love the more lighthearted one where there's like super tender. It said like, why rats, Papa? It's like, rats are the lowliest and most despised of all creatures, my love. But if they have a purpose, so do we all.
So do we all. I love that. I love that. He's like, there's something wrong with your skin. He's like, it's just a rash. That's a rash? Polka dots like everywhere. Like he's like glowing boils all over his skin. I love it. And it's from Captain America guy, whatever his name is. John Cena's character. What was his name again? Captain
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. That's right, the Peacemaker. He's like, that's a rash. Why was that so funny, dude? He was so great. Peacemaker's
I love
lines,
Polka-dot
dude.
Man when he's like, I turn people into my mom and kill them.
I turned him into my mom in my mind.
He's like,
Killed
he's
them.
like, I don't like killing people, but when I pretend they're my mom, it's easy.
It makes it easy. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. Oh man. And then like, why are you in your underwear? When they all come out, Peacemaker's like in his whitey tighties. So
Dude,
funny,
I thought it was so funny when they're in the prison and he's like, hey, Polka-dot Man, I was hoping you'd entertain my kid's birthday party. You effing
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just like, that is so prison. Just
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh man.
I even love like the mouse trying to be sweet. Like I really cared for a silly rat with like a vest on. Like it's so silly and it's stupid, but I loved
Yeah.
it. Like he's offering you a leave. He's like, why would I want to leave? He was such a. It's like, why would I want to leave? I loved Idris Elba. He was so charming in this movie. Oh my gosh, this movie was so great, dude.
I love in the beginning when they're flying the first team on the plane. The guy's like, was it TDS or TKS or something?
Yeah,
He's like, what does that stand for? He's like,
It's my
it's
name.
me. It stands for me. And he's like, it's just he's like, your name is just letters. He's like, all names are letters, stupid.
I love that one too. It's right after Bloodsport and Peacemaker are like busy showing off killing the freedom fighters, and he's like, no one likes
Oh,
to show
yes.
off. And he's like, unless what they're showing off is dope as fudge. And he's like, F, that's true.
Dude, Peacemaker, yeah, again, Peacemaker was making me roll beside myself. He was so funny. Like, again, I think I like The Rock. I think he's totally fine. I think Sylvester Stallone is fine. But like, dude, John Cena takes the cake, man. He was so good in this movie. Like, I don't think it would have worked if he had someone else in there. I think he did a really good job.
Milton's
gosh.
dead. Milton.
Who's Milton? It reminded me of Dodgeball, dude. Yeah, there's Steve the Pirate. We have a guy that dresses up as a pirate. Like, he doesn't remember who he is. Like, we had a distinct conversation. You said your name was Milton.
See, and I love that. I love that callback with Bloodsport and Harley Quinn when she's like,
Yep.
she's like, I could be your friend. He's like, you don't even know my name. Sure, I do, Milton. I'm not Milton. We just had a 2-hour discussion about this. He's like, I'm not Milton.
I love the Shark Boy. I don't know what to call him other than Shark Boy. He's just
King
like
Shark.
King
Bloodsport.
Shark.
What was his name?
King Shark.
King Shark.
King Shark. Well, they had a cool name, didn't they? Or I can't
King
remember.
Shark.
A Nalba or
No, it was like
Nalba
it was like a cool Hawaiian name or something
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
right?
Hand.
But yeah, I love it every time he points and he goes nom nom. He points to the starfish. Num num. It's like eat. I love that. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
And then when they're
He's just
walking
like,
away,
"Num,
he's
num?"
like nom nom, and they're like no, and then he's like nom nom to every single starfish. Like
Every single starfish.
nom nom, no.
Oh my gosh, I love it too.
And I love it
He's
when
just
when
like-
he swore. I thought it was so funny because like you can't bring the mustache, and he's like F, and then he like pouts off and like hobbles away, and like even Idris Elba was like trying not to laugh.
I love that. I know. And there was a great moment where they're like all standing there and like, we're all going to die. And Polka-dot Man's like, I hope so.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, for fud's sake. I freaking love that. Like,
Well, I love
just
later
remember
too because that the Polka-dot guy, he's like, well, after Peacemaker's like, I don't care how many men, women, and children they need to kill to get peace. He's like, and then the girl's like turns to him. She's like, I thought you were the crazy one. He's like, I am.
I love the visual gags. Every time he saw his mother, like the whole team, like
Yeah.
his mother's like the shark, it's all the different characters. At the end, the giant starfish lady,
Yeah,
I thought that was so funny. He like
Oh,
sees
so
his mom as this
It's
giant
your mom,
monster.
and they start shooting its leg.
Starts shooting off its leg. He's like, I'm a superhero, which was such a funny line. They put it in the trailer. I love that line. Like now it carries so much weight. See, I was worried when I watched the trailer for this movie. I was so hesitant to say to Jordan. I told Jordan I was very skeptical. I'm like, they're putting the best stuff in the trailer. No, they held James Gunn stuck to his guns. He held off a lot of the humor that he could have easily put in there, which was such a pleasant surprise when you're watching it. They didn't show the funniest parts in the movie. The movie's funnier than the trailer. I'm like,
Yeah, and see,
good for you, dude.
another scene that I thought it's right after he's like, "You stuck me next to a werewolf, yo man, let me out." When Blackguard's freaking out, I love it because Rick Flag, he's like, he's not a werewolf, he's a weasel, he's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but you know.
That was the other thing too with the weasel. Like I thought he was really funny. Like I thought he was like he reminds me of Scratch from Ice Age. Like he's always looking for a nut. Like at the end, like when he gets in the water, you're like, what's he gonna do? Like,
He
what's
reminds me
his
of
thing? And then he
Squanchy
just
from-
drowns. He just
Reminds me of
drowns.
Squanchy from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Squanch. Yeah, he
Squanchy.
looks like Squanch meets Scratch from Ice Age. That is
Yeah.
so funny. Just like this ugly creature, doesn't have any powers. Just
Did anyone see if Weasel could swim?
I also love the idea that like each one of them, were in there for different crimes and different reasons. But I love that they were all willing to get a sentence lifted, or Viola Davis had to blackmail them into it. I love that. I think that's really great. I love when people are being extorted, and then you have these villains in a really rock and a hard place. They do this impossible mission. That's so well done, and they did a really good job this time. And it's like the same premise. You had Viola Davis and Hopper from Stranger Things. They were like discussing stuff, but I didn't feel any weight. Like, they're like, here's the Enchantress. Like, how do you control her? You don't. I love this one where it's like, you just have a mission, go destroy the thing. I love that. That was so much easier. Could wrap my mind around it. And yes, there was a giant monster, but there was no beam in the sky that I can remember. There was a giant tower somewhere, but no beam in the sky. I was watching for it. I was just waiting. I was like, please don't do the beam. Because I thought they were going to make a joke out of it, because like they could have. With this movie, they're going to be like, oh, there's a fetching beam in the sky. There's always a beam. No beams. Just a giant monster, which was great. And even the giant monster...
That's what the guy
stakes.
said. We got a freaking kaiju up in the shiz.
We've got a kaiju in this mother.
Got a kaiju. Yeah, that office dude was so funny.
so funny.
He's like, you wouldn't really kill his kid, would you? Or like, you would really do those things. He's just, you have no idea what I'm capable of. It's like, okay. Jeez, lady. Holy crap. I love that. So funny.
Dude, honestly, anything like that's what I loved is I felt like the what's his name, King Shark was just like that perfect like levity that the movie needed as well.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like when like they're talking, he's like Ratatouille, what you got? And then King Shark's like bird, and he's like no, stay off the comm.
Stay off the call. I love that too. One of my favorite too that actually made me laugh out loud, like one of the first laughs I had was just at the presentation. Because at first I thought I was going to be annoyed. I was like, which character is going to be like the weakest link? Each one of them were batting at 110. Like they were all
What's
knocking
that?
it out of the
What's
park.
that used for?
He's just like, any questions? Yeah. What was that, Jordan?
What's that?
Overhead projector.
Oh yeah, the little girl.
Do you even
And he's
use
like,
that?
any questions?
No.
There's a silent, and then he like raises his hand. Yes, that is your hand. Very good. I love that. I thought it was so funny. Oh my gosh. TDK stands for the detachable kid. He moves his arms.
I didn't
They're
choose the
flopping
effing
around,
team.
just messing everyone up. And then they start shooting the arms, and he's rolling on the ground without his arms. He's like, ah! He's like in pain as they're shooting his limbs separated from himself. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. So ridiculous.
I
dude.
love the two when Harley Quinn's like, I love your accent. He's like, all American women love men with accents. She's like, we do. It's because we don't got none. It's funny because Harley Quinn is Australian.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, is she really?
That's
That's
funny.
fun.
Yeah, and he's like has an Australian accent.
I love in the bar scene when John Cena's like, a little drinking don't hurt nobody. Polka-dot Man's like, except for the thousands of deaths from drinking and driving.
And everyone's kind of just like, oh man,
In
vibe
the
kill.
club when he's dancing and he just goes like ham, and then there's his moms everywhere around him. It's so weird. And he's just like dancing like he doesn't care. It's the weirdest scene, dude.
Oh, it's
I love
so
it.
funny.
I love it too when they like give up themselves, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the American you're looking for," and then Black comes up, "Hey, you're looking for me too." I love that they give themselves up so the others can get away. I just thought it was great. Idris Elba, dude, and at the very end,
Dude, that shotgun, oh my gosh. Blowing
like, to
children's
those people?
face away.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that gun that he builds at the end with all of his attachments, I thought was super
That's
cool.
so
Like,
sick.
He has like a little piece. He grabs another piece off his belt and like makes the gun bigger and bigger. I just thought that was so cool. But yeah, the visuals. Again, the last thing I'll say is like you can have a really dark movie with like moments of levity, but you can have bright and beautiful colors. Sometimes the contrast of like missing something really beautiful while your movie's really dark, it kind of adds something to it now, you know? Like the when she goes in for the eye, I just like cringe because I'm like, that is so gross. Like stabbing an eye with this giant javelin, cuts open to it, and then just goes swimming in this eye. Like,
yeah, well, that was so
like,
crazy because
it
I
was
thought
so
it would just be
gross.
like, I thought it was just be like the stab and then like slide down
Yeah,
right, on the outside,
yeah.
but it's just like,
it's like he goes through the eyeball and like swimming in this giant pool. It is
And I
so
love how
gross.
she was like disgusting afterwards too.
Yeah.
And she gives the
Disgusting.
thumbs
Wet.
up, and then Idris Elba gives her the thumbs up too.
Yeah.
She's like, I did it.
So great. So
But yeah, definitely recommend. Well, not for the faint of heart, but
Yeah, maybe edited. There's quite a few things.
it's a great movie. So guys, do you guys have any nitpicks or anything else you wanted to say about this movie?
no.
I had a great time.
The last
James
thing I would
Gunn
say,
needs to
there was
direct
one other
more
funny line
DC
from
stuff.
Harley Quinn that I remember was when they asked her about where she got like in prison. He's just like, "Why are you in prison?" He goes like, "I got road rage in a bank," or something like that. And then
Yeah.
wasn't the mouse lady? She's like also said a really funny line about like because I thought that was kind of fun. Because I'm like, oh, okay, like Harley Quinn's going to be the same character. But then later, like I said, she was way better in this one. There was another really funny one where they're like, "Can you believe it? I came to America to live the dream. My father died, and then while I was here in America, I robbed a bank, or what did she say? Like I robbed a bank, and they considered the mice as a lethal weapon, so it was an armed robbery. like the state considered the mice as a weapon. I thought that was so funny. Like I don't know, I thought that was so great. Like the criminal justice system screwing her over, considering the fact that she controlled mice while she robbed a bank was so funny. I don't know why I thought that was great. So it was great.
well,
So
it was one thing I remember. One the thinker guy, he's like, here's the monster. He's like, I call it Starro the Conqueror. When he said that, I was like, I call it Patrick Star. I just like instantly thought
dude,
of that.
that guy
so
was
funny.
weird. He was batting at 110
Yeah.
too, and he's like, how would you like it if I had like a dozen rats crawling in your butt? And he's like, you might be surprised by my response. Or yeah, he's like, how would you like it? Would you like me to send a bunch of rats? He's like, you might be surprised by my response. And when they get to the club or whatever that underground lair, he's like, no, he's back. Are you gonna keep us safe from that man? He's gonna abuse us and he's like, I can't remember what he said. He's like, yeah, I'm guilty or something like that. Like it was so gross. He said like all these poor victims. It's so messed up, dude.
Yeah, he's freaking
Great
psycho.
villain. Loved it. And then he gets torn in half by the star. I love that. Frankenstein, created this giant monster and now it destroys him. It's great. I mean, it's a motif in movies that I love. You create this monster that's out of your control. It's so fun. So, well, guys, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking about this. So, do you guys have any other last thoughts? I would just say, would you guys recommend this movie? Highly recommend
yes.
this movie. This is so
Like
funny.
Jordan said, yeah, if you're not really, but if you're an avid R movie watcher, absolutely.
Like if you like The Boys and like all these other.
Yeah,
oh
it's
yeah,
right
if
up
you,
that
yeah, if
alley.
you love the
Yeah.
boys, yeah,
Yeah.
right up that.
But
alley.
even then, I would say it's not as gratuitous.
It's more
which is why I
docile.
like, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's about Invincible level.
Yes.
Maybe
for
a
sure.
step above it.
A
Step
bit
above Invincible, yeah. A step lower from The Boys, so it's right in that sweet spot.
Yeah, right in
So,
between.
you want some depravity, but not full manic, Anyway, highly recommend it. You guys check out this movie. Everybody, this has been Future Hidden Movie Gems. Thanks for tuning in. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Like us on Spotify, Facebook, Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. Leave us an
Message
email.
us.
Write us message us. And this is Future Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Patreon, peace.
I'm a fetching superhero. I'm a fetching superhero. Friend.
Nom nom.
Dumb friends.
Dumb friends. Oh gosh, this movie.
Oh my gosh.